Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters, inshallah ta'ala, today we would love to complete our lesson on gender and the concept of gender in Arabic and also understanding it through Quranic Arabic. We've already covered several lessons, 3A to E on gender, but there's one more to understand so that we have a holistic understanding regarding this concept. The answers for lesson 3E can be found on the link below this YouTube video. Going on to lesson 3F, which is the final lesson pertaining to gender, and what we will be discussing is obviously an additional way of trying to identify a word to be feminine in Arabic and no more masculine. Now, if you look at this particular slide, you will find on the top there are three Arabic words with its meaning. For example, Narun is fire, Shamsun sun, Dunya world. All three words are feminine in gender. But when we analyze each one, you will find that, for example, Narun, Shamsun and Dunya, it's not the name of a person, which was one of the ways of identifying gender to be feminine in Arabic. Neither through its meaning we can tell its gender. For example, we know Abun is father, so we know it's masculine. Ukhtun is sister, we know it's feminine. This is not the case with these three words. It's not the name of a place, a country, a tribe, and so forth. So it doesn't fall under that category. Neither can we identify any sign of femininity. In other words, there's no ta marbuta, alif mamduda, or alif maqsura. And also, they are not connected to body parts at all, leave alone in pairs, Narun, Shamsun, and Dunya. But yet we find that in Arabic, these three words are considered and are feminine. They are treated as feminine words. So how do we then understand this particular concept? The answer is when there is no apparent reason or sign, and it has been confirmed that the word is mu'annath, it is feminine, then no, the hidden reason is Arabiering, which is called mu'annas sima'i. In other words, what we're trying to say is that if you are told Narun is mu'annas, and you could not find any apparent reason or sign to tell you why is it feminine, giving you that information, then you must know there's a hidden reason, and that hidden reason is Arabiering called mu'annas sima'i. What Arabiering means is that the Arabs, they used these words and they treated it as feminine, and generation after generation kept on using it as feminine. And now when we find it in the Quran also, you find that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses it in that particular gender. So this is called Arabiering. So there are several words in the Quran which also fall under this concept of Arabiering. Again, what is important is that learn as you go approach. Because it's just a handful of words that you will identify to be of this concept, you need to learn it and remember it. For example, you learned Narun is fire, mu'annas sima'i. Shamsun is sun, mu'annas sima'i. And Dunya is world, mu'annas sima'i. Let's look at more examples and try to see how we can learn and remember these examples as well. The word nafsun. Nafsun is not a name of a person, a place, a country, and so forth. There's no alif mamduda, maqsurata, marbuta, and so forth. But yet it is mu'annas, and it's mu'annas sima'i. Now, nafsun, soul, or you can be translated as self as well. So that's why it is something we do not put under body parts. Ardun is earth. Earth doesn't fall in any one of the categories, that's been covered in lesson 3a to 3e. Whether you're speaking of body parts or alif mamduda, the signs, or speaking of a name of someone or some place, Ardun is earth. Darun is abode, your home or your abode. Okay, so again the same thing. We don't find any apparent reason or sign to tell us it is mu'annas. But it's confirmed in Arabic that this is a mu'annas word. It's feminine in nature. So therefore, we understand that the concept here, or the reason, let's say the reason is mu'annas sima'i. Ka'asun is cup. It's not name of a person, place, no alif mamduda, ta marbuta. It doesn't relate or connect, to body parts. So it's mu'annas and mu'annas sima'i. And the last example which I'm sharing with you on this particular slide is rihun, which is wind. Similar answer, mu'annas sima'i. So nafsun, ardun, darun, ka'sun, and rihun are all mu'annas. No apparent reason or sign, so we say it is mu'annas because of sima'i, Arab hearing. We can now turn to the book or the note. On page 42, you have lesson 3F. We understand this whole concept of Arab hearing here. The word narun is a feminine noun, not by name, meaning, or signs, but it is feminine because the Arabs used it as feminine. Here's the same words that I've already presented in today's presentation. You can just go through it and see that you learn the meaning of those words. And then we go on to page 43. Page 43 is activity here on the top. Jahannam is added, hellfire. The opposite of Jannah, hellfire, is also mu'annas sima'i, and other words have been covered in the presentation. At the bottom, we need to highlight in yellow the feminine nouns which are feminine through Arab hearing. Obviously, these are words that you came across. Highlight it in yellow or just underline it if you don't have a highlighter or a pencil color. And that makes you understand that in this particular verse, which word is mu'annas, but not only mu'annas, mu'annas sima'i. Page 44 gives you a summary of lesson 3. That's 3A to 3F. So you have all the lessons put together and it gives you a good overview with regards to each one. The 6 ways of knowing a word is feminine. That's why you got A to F. The first one is by way of name of a female, like Aisha too. Number 2, by meaning. Once we know Ummun means mother, then we can determine the gender. Number 3, the name of a place, tribe or nation, like Mis'ad, Thamud, and so forth. Number 4, by way of sign. Sign 1, ta marbuta, sign 2, alif mamduda, and sign 3, alif maqsura. Number 5, body parts in pairs, like yadun, hand. And sign 6, which was today's presentation, Arab hearing, mu'annas sima'i. A new example is given here of asa, which means staff or stick, asa. Like the Quran says, قَالَ هِيَ عَصَايَ, speaking and with regards to the staff or stick of Musa alayhi salam. Shamsun, which is sun. Points to consider. Number 1, I treat a word as masculine except if there's a reason or sign for treating it as feminine. Number 2, words that are feminine through Arab hearing must be learned. Because this is a hidden reason, that is why we need to learn the word and know that it is feminine through Arab hearing. We go on to page 45. This is the activity. The instructions are given on the top here, number 1 and 2. Page 46 is another activity. Instructions are given on top, 1 and 2. So that's all for the concept of gender. That's all for today. And inshallah ta'ala, we will understand why gender is so significant. Remember, we are still getting the basics right. Once the basics are right, you will have a deeper understanding as to why these aspects or properties of a noun play such a significant and important role in understanding. That's all for today. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.